for all the world to see. A statue of a fool made of stone.
Welcome to this edition of the Vawlin Out podcast. I'm your host, Jordan, here with my guys, Billy and Swanee. How you fellas doing tonight?
Hey, you okay, man?
That's what we like to hear, man.
Good to see you again, Billy. It's been too long, in my opinion.
Too long.
Yes,
I know
sir.
you're a busy man. A couple things right off the top. I want to say the Atlanta Braves clinched the playoff spot today. Last time we lost Ronald Acuna to an ACL, we won a World Series. We'll see what happens starting tomorrow against the Padres, who are really, really good. But also, we lost two big sports figures today. Dikembe Mutombo passed away, and Pete Rose. And it's a crime that he'll never see himself. He won't be allowed to see himself in the Hall of Fame, which he probably won't anyway, but it's horseshit if they do it now. And just we had some serious stuff break out in this area over the past few days. So we're just keeping the people of our community in thoughts and prayers, because it was a flood of biblical proportions where we're at. A lot of people lost their homes, their wife's work, everything.
It really was, man. It was wild up here over the weekend. Just wanted to let everybody know, they're in our thoughts and prayers, all involved. I mean, it was wild up here this weekend. So absolutely wanted to get that out there. And Billy, we're glad you're good, man. I heard you just got a little bit of rain down that way. So thank God the bulk of it missed you guys.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that was affected by it. A couple of friends passed away, drowned and all that. And been a very bad situation. I mean, you're talking about comparing this to almost like Hurricane Katrina was, man. It's, it's just when water is involved, it's a tough situation to control. I mean, you can't control water. I mean, it's heavy. It's hard to, flood and, the mudslides. And, you see the power of water, how it just turn away bridges. Things that you think that be indestructible. That's why I tell people, be careful when you're driving through water, man. You never know what's under that water, or even if it's a sinkhole, you don't know.
Yeah. Don't take much, man. It don't take much. The old saying, turn around, don't drown, it holds true. I mean, we were listening to the scanner here at my house. The old lady had her scanner app on her phone up, and man, it was just like, it just kept getting more tragic, like with every call that was coming in. I mean, it was awful, man. But, boys, that being said, we're going to keep them in our thoughts and prayers. Our neighbors here in Cott County, Greene County, Irwin, Unicoi, all that. We're going to keep them in our thoughts and prayers. But like I said, I'm glad you guys are safe, and I'm ready to talk a little ball. How about you guys?
Let's do it.
Yeah. Talk some Vols. Well, guys, contrary to what Mr. Cole Satterfield told me on the YouTube channel, Oklahoma did not, in fact, drag us. I think the dragon was the skull drag us was the term. I think it was the other way around. 25-15, Cole, hold that L, buddy. We're coming off the bye, and we're headed to Fayetteville. So let's get down to it here. I'm going to give us a little series history right quick, and we'll talk about the Oklahoma game here too, for sure. We'll save it for a little bit later, because I got a couple discussion points I want to bring up from that game. Series history, though. All time, the Vols lead at 13-6, but Tennessee is currently riding a 3-game losing streak in the series, going back to on your favorite head coach, Coach Cornbread, a.k.a. Jeremy Pruitt. Vols are 5-4 all time on the road against the Hogs, and have split the last 10 games of the series right down the middle at 5-5. However, the Vols have only one win in their last 5 trips to Fayetteville, and have only tasted victory twice, in 1995 and 2001. So for whatever reason, boys, that's a hard trip for us to make.
I wouldn't put too much into history when it comes to this situation. I mean, and remember I told you about our team. It always going to depend on a certain position to be able to be effective, SEC, and the defensive tackle play. It's where I said was going to be the situations and the wide receiver play. if we get those positions fixed, I said we were going to be able to compete this season. And so far, that's what's happening. And the history that you just gave, we got to throw that out the window, man. We got to throw that out the window.
I agree with you.
And one thing, and I normally don't even throw these words out there because I don't like to get ahead so quick, but it does kind of feel like 98, don't it? Just a little bit.
Brother, you missed me on the last episode we recorded.
Just a little bit.
I'm singing a different tune. Jordan will tell you I'm not the most optimistic person, but I think we're beating everybody. I was thinking that watching the Alabama Georgia game. Alabama looks better than I thought they did, but Georgia does not. Going into the season, I thought Georgia was an automatic L, and I don't think that anymore.
Yeah, that man has changed his tune.
Feels good, man, walking around with a pep in my step.
Hey, I mean, I didn't just put this word on the show, guys. This is me every day now.
Yes, sir.
Rock a shirt every day now. Bringing out all
you
the
got to, man. Got to. It's this team has just got a different feel about it. You know, just not much rattles them. I'll bring some stuff up later on that I myself picked up on during the Oklahoma game, but they've just got a different feel to it. Like, history doesn't always repeat itself. There's always a team that breaks the cycle for everybody. And I think this might be the Tennessee team that does it. So that being said, though, I do feel like we got a couple of storylines going into this game. Sam Pittman, is that man on the hot seat right now? Because that was the talk at the end of last season. Even though they've gotten off to, I don't want to say a great start, but a strong start. They've got 2 losses to Oklahoma State and Texas A&M by a combined 12 points. Oklahoma State had to go to overtime to beat them. They had Texas A&M on the ropes in that game. But at the end of the day, it's a result-driven business. So it don't matter how you've looked during the game. You didn't get those wins. I feel like technically they've got a good case to be at least 4-1 right now. I know I would have probably, looking at it before the season started, I'd have had them 1-4, 2-3, going back to, what they did last season. But they look pretty solid this year. So what do you guys think? Is he on the hot seat, yay or nay?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah, it's too soon to tell right now, but I don't think he's on the hot seat.
They're a lot better than we thought they would be going into the season, which concerns me a little bit, especially having to play on the road. No, I don't think it depends on who he loses to moving down the rest of the season, I guess.
Sure.
To put him on the
I would agree with that.
Fire up the hot seat, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that. I know after this, they've got to travel to LSU. So, I like Sam Pittman. Coach Hype had a lot of good stuff to say about him today. He's good. And it's not even for Coach Hype. It's not even about coach for him. It's about the man, he was talking about. So, that says a lot, especially in this day and age when, let's face it, we've got a lot of low integrity guys coaching big time football programs. I don't think we have one of them. I think Hype is there, but look down south just a little bit. Come to the SIP, who might be going to the swamp, which would be where he'd belong. But I don't think any of us want to see him there. But it's I got a feeling, guys, this game might be a little bit tougher than what we want to say it is. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I think it's point for discussion later on. Next one. So we talked about it in the Oklahoma season preview, this, that, and the other. Are the road demons exercised, and would you guys consider this a trap game, seeing that we're coming off the bye week?
I'm gonna just go with what I said when we did our preseason talk about this here. This is gonna be our hardest game. I think that Arkansas is gonna be a competitive game. I don't think we're going in and going to be a cakewalk. It's not be that we throwing and getting the 70 points. It's once again, this is SEC play. This is a real SEC school, and we got a bullseye on our back, and everybody's going to be coming and giving us a game as if they're their national championship game. I'm not saying Arkansas is going to beat us because I think we have enough defensive-wise to control the game to come out with the win.
I think this would be a trap game for a lesser coach with lesser talent. Tennessee teams in the past, yes, this would be a trap game, but I don't think it is this year.
I would agree with that. I would tend to agree with that. Kind of ties into my next question. We're going on the road against a lesser opponent. Are we going to be prepared? And I think we will be. That's been go back to 2022, South Carolina. Baz, we hate to talk about it. Connor Stallions had a hand in that. I don't care what anybody says. But, go back to 2022, South Carolina on the road, Georgia on the road. Georgia wasn't a lesser opponent, though. I don't know that we could have prepared better for them than what we did and still won the game. South Carolina, though, that was definitely a lesser opponent, and we looked ill-prepared. Whether we were or not, left to be seen. I'm just saying, it's coincidental that was the only game all year they wore wristbands for. Just saying. And then,
the
last
Jimmy
year.
Banks thing that happened there when that came out.
I do.
What was it, stepping on the tee and not doing push-ups or something like that?
Yeah, I do. I remember that. Remember, we had, actually, I want to say it's a current Arkansas lineman on the show on Up at Noon, and he wouldn't talk about it. He refused to talk about it.
Oh, is he at Arkansas now?
He did transfer to Arkansas.
I'm going to have to text him about that.
It was either Arkansas or Georgia Tech. I want to say it was Arkansas. It was Arkansas.
I'll look it up.
Pretty certain. Anyway, though, Georgia Tech, I want to say, was one of his top 3, and then he ended up at Arkansas. Fact check me, though. Anyway,
I'm on it.
They remember, because before the show even started, I was like, hey, I want to make sure this is an okay question to ask. We don't like putting anybody on the spot here. And he flat out refused to talk about it.
Yeah.
He flat out said no.
Too, but
I did too, but it was okay. Well, maybe somebody will, take care of that for us. Anywho, I just want to see us go out, be prepared for a lesser opponent, because that's what we're going up against this week. Let's just be honest. I mean, that's what it is, and let's handle some business. Now, here's the next question I want to ask you guys. The Vols front 7, they've looked dynamite through 4 games. Only question I've got against them right now, the Hawkins kid from Oklahoma. Granted, we didn't see any film on him, none of that. Mobile quarterback, dude's solid. Dude is a solid quarterback. Looked good against Auburn. Arkansas has a very mobile quarterback. He makes plays out of the pocket, this, that, and the other. Do you guys see him giving our front 7 an issue?
I think last week, against Oklahoma with the young kids scrambling against us helps us. We haven't played anybody with that dynamic speed of a quarterback. And this week, he's going to test us. But the thing is, we've had 2 weeks to prepare for this kid. We know we're going to have to contain him. We know we're going to have to push the middle, and our ends going to have to make those plays. And that's why I think we're going to be okay, because that's the one position that has yet to shine this year. And supposedly our best position is our defensive ends. Our defensive ends haven't made too many plays this year.
That's true.
But guess what?
That's true.
They're going to get better, and it's his time. He knows he has to step up. He missed quite a few sacks, even though they was in his own. He missed them. But now it's time for him to shine. This is the first time I want to tell you guys that we truly have 3 deep at every position up front on the defense.
That's true. That's a fact. You've seen it in that Oklahoma game. That is a fact. 100%. That's a fact.
It's been a long time. Been a long time that we can say that when it comes to depth on a defensive line. And I'm hard on our defensive line because I played the position. I know how it's supposed to be played in the SEC. And we haven't had a dominant defense that I call true compete. Now we got, and I think we should have it now, because we got guys that are old enough, that play the position long enough to understand how to play the game. It just sucks to take 20 years for them to get it. But
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're one of those schools that are benefiting from that extra COVID year right now. In certain positions, that's what it is. I would agree with that 110%. So let's get down into it here, into this game in particular. The Arkansas offense for Arkansas is scoring 35.8 a game. They're getting 10 points per game off turnovers. Interesting to me. Ball's defense is giving up 7 points per game. Stingy. Arkansas is getting 212 rushing per game, 5.3 per carry, 283 passing per game, 7.9 yards per attempt, 14.2 per catch. So when they catch it and he's got time to get it off, they're getting somewhere with it. They've given up 18 rushing touchdowns. Arkansas has had 18 rushing touchdowns on the year, 5 passing touchdowns. The Vols defense is giving up 50.8 rush yards per game, 125 passing yards per game, 5.22 per attempt, 1 pass touchdown, 1 rush touchdown on the year, for a grand total of 176 per game. Total offense is what we're giving up right now. Here's what's interesting to me, though. Arkansas does turn the ball over. They've had 6 interceptions on the year, 12 fumbles. They've lost 4 of those fumbles. Arkansas is getting $4.95 a game. Look at their schedule. Look at who we've played. Give the nod to the defense to the Tennessee defense on that one. I mean, there's not going to be many games you're not giving the nod to the Tennessee defense on. So what that's kind of telling me is we shut down that quarterback. It's game over. They're not doing much of anything against us. They do have a good do it back there, though, with their quarterback and running back. Pass rush has an opportunity to shine in this game, though. That's how you contain a mobile quarterback. Get him down, keep him in the pocket, and we can do it. We've got the ends to do it.
Well, we game plan for us up front on both sides of the ball. I think, it's going to be, I still think we'll cover the spread. I still think we'll win by at least 20 points. I don't think Arkansas is going to lay down. I know they're going to come out and compete within, the first half. I just don't think they'll be able to withstand the whole game of a 3-deep process when it comes to the defensive front and offensive front. So I think we wear them down and run the ball like I know we're capable of. I think this should be a easy victory for the Vols.
I want to say easy, man, but I've been a Tennessee fan long enough. Nothing's easy. That's as bad as I hate to say it. I hope you're right, though. I do.
Yeah, let me help you out just a little bit. Remember what you said about Georgia, right? You said you thought they were going to be the best, right? You thought Alabama was going to be falling off, right? But I'm going to tell you, Alabama ain't going to fall off until next year. Alabama still is Nick Saban's team. When he don't get those same recruits, that's when you start seeing that change. So here, this Tennessee team is a totally different team, guys. This is not what we're used to. We got to get out of the blindness side of what we've done in the past. This team is not your traditional team that's been coached by the same type of coaches we had in the past. This is the first time that we can truly say that Hyper has his team together. And now we got a Hyper team.
Fair enough.
That's playing together. Now you have what I've been trying to tell everybody, that when you get seniors that's been doing it for so long, now you got freshmen mimicking these seniors doing what they're doing. Now you're seeing younger guys play at the same type of talent that the seniors are playing. Now the coaches don't have to teach as much instead of evolving these kids now. Now you have a total team of effectiveness when it comes to projecting stats or projecting how we're going to win, how we're going to lose. This is the first time in a long time that you can actually say that, okay, we're going to win this game. It's not a 50-50 thinking of we're going to win the game anymore. Now we have to get we probably can beat Alabama. Oh, we probably can compete with Georgia. When's the last time that you thought that you can do that with a Tennessee team?
That's a good
So
point. That's a fantastic point, actually.
you are afraid of a Razorback team.
I don't want to say I'm afraid. Yeah, the BVS is kicking. You know what I'm saying? The battered ball syndrome is kicking. All right.
On here, or go back and rewind what you said about Oklahoma.
Good point. Good
Go,
point.
go see what the scores we predicted and see how close they were.
They're no doubt getting tagged in this regardless, because yeah, they love to hate us right now.
Well,
I'm with you though. I'm trying to keep my optimism contained at this point, just because I don't want to set myself up for a letdown. I don't necessarily think we're going to get that letdown, but I want to be even keel when it comes. You know what I mean?
imagine if the players thought that way.
But that's a good point. That's a good point. It'd be
What I-
awfully hypocritical of me for me to say that, knowing I've got to go out every weekend or every week and pump my Pee-wee kids up for it. You know what I'm saying? I get where you're coming from with that. Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's get into the Hogs defense against our offense. Hogs defense has given up 20.2 points per game. Not too bad. Not too bad. However, we're 2.5 times better than that. We're getting 54 points a game. Arkansas has given up 93 rushing yards per game. We get 290 per game rushing, 5.9 yards per carry. Okay. They're giving up 226.4 passing yards per game. We're getting 276 at 9.76 yards per attempt. They've given up 3 rushing touchdowns to 8 passing touchdowns. We've got 15 rushing touchdowns to 9. They're giving up 319 yards per game on defense. We're getting 565 a game. Bottom line, on paper, we've talked about this before. On paper, this game shouldn't be close. Should not be close. I don't feel like they've got the horses in the stable to run with us. I just don't feel like they do. Period. At any position. If the defense will come to play, and I don't think that's going to be a problem this year. I don't think they've come to play every game this year. We'll be just fine.
Okay, so now
It's going to be.
Now this is the part where I'm gonna have to beg to differ on. This is gonna be the first time that we actually compete with actual true defensive backs, true corners that can jam. This is our first test to see if our receivers are the real deal and we can get off the line of scrimmage and help the quarterback. This is the part where I am waiting to see. And if we can do that, this will be a blowout. If our receivers can get off the line of scrimmage and run their routes, because our offense is a timing offense. It's a timing offense. I don't care who's that quarterback. If our receivers are not getting jammed, they're going to be successful. I don't care who's that quarterback. As you saw when last week when we played against Oklahoma, the part that you didn't see where Nico fumbled the ball or 3 picks or anything like that, look and see what happened. Our receivers are getting jammed. And
Absolutely.
It looked like,
I agree with that.
here, it looked like everybody was saying, overthrow Joe. It looked like the same thing. It is the same thing, is because the way our offense is designed is a timing situation when it comes to our offense. And it all is up to the wide receiver position.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. I could see that 100%. It's either down to timing or speed. Timing is the more important part. The speed, though, man, God Almighty, you see Thornton burn that boy on that slant route. I mean, it was done from the time he got off the route. I mean, from the time he snapped the ball, that one was done. That was impressive. We've got speed for days. I do want to give Oklahoma credit on one thing, though. I feel like defensively, they had a solid game plan. We just out-talented them. I think defensively, they had a good game plan. They kept the offense in check for the most part, but Tennessee made the plays when it mattered, and we just flat out had more talent than they did. That's the way it seemed. I think that's going to be a thing this week. Talent almost always outweighs scheme. Not always, but almost always. And that's exactly what Tennessee went to Norman with last week and did. And then defensively, dude, they had 3 points at halftime. What do you do with that? You know what I'm saying? I mean, that game was over at halftime. It really was.
And that's the part that I love what Hyper did. He didn't do anything crazy. He was truly being conservative. You know, there was no reason to come out with, open the playbook up or, score 100 points or whatever. There's no purpose for that. Me personally, I mean, I probably would have took Nico out the game. Just because of, there's a chance of him getting hurt. But
Sure.
I like what he was doing. Hey, let's see what he can do under pressure.
So that kind of brings me up to my next talking point. I've got some discussion points here. I was talking to a lot of my friends there, last weekend about the game and whatnot, or weekend before last. They were kind of upset we wasn't putting up more points. And I'm like, well, okay, so are we going conservative or are we playing smart ball? I'm going with smart ball simply because, like you said, to me, there was no point in going out there and hanging 50 on them. That 22-3 lead might as well have been 40 at one point because the defense was all over them. I mean, all over them. No sense in showing your hand if you don't have to. It's kind of like our old Kenny Rogers used to say, got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. We were just riding it out. I will say, at one point, it got close enough, not even really close enough, but, within 10 points, I'm kind of like, I wouldn't have minded seeing us put up another touchdown. I wouldn't have minded it at all. Just to say, hey, this was not a 10-point game, because it wasn't. But Hype even told Nico in the post game. I'm sure you guys have seen the video of him running around the football field afterwards, and he just said, hey, I let our defense basically do work. You got a defense like that, you might as well let them. Put it on them. They'll shoulder it. Let's do it. I don't think we'll see another game, too many more games where, we put up 50 or 60 unless we have to. Alabama, Georgia might be one of those games. But I feel like, yeah, it was a little conservative, but at the same time, it was smart play calling on Hype's part. You don't have to. You got the run game going. Get them going, Shout out Cole, because he was like, oh, you guys didn't have a run game. Sir, we doubled up your run game. Just saying.
One thing, we've been seeing a lot out of Hype this year so far. He seems really locked in. And I think that we're seeing that reflected in the team, how they're playing, how they're going about business, which is why I'm not worried about Arkansas being a trap game or whatever. Also, shout out to Oklahoma, who helped donate to the relief efforts here in East Tennessee this week.
Yes.
Random place to interject that, but yeah, I just thought that was a really cool gesture by them.
Well, I'm old school when it comes to football games. I come from an era of if you can't score, you can't win. So I don't care if it was 7-0, a win is a win. We do whatever it takes to get the W. Of course, scoring that many points, I love it. Like it's the old school saying, hey, offense sells tickets, defense wins games. I take that any day. But defense is my specialty. I love it. I love what we're doing on offense. But, if we win the game 35-20, I'm happy with it. We win the game 17-10.
Yes, sir.
Now, I don't like being on eggshells and have to come back from behind or hold on to a win or that we down, we up 13-10 and that's different. But if we got a okay lead, I can handle that, the defense that we have.
Sure. That's I'm the same way, but almost at the same time, I enjoy watching those Tennessee games because I'm so deeply vested in it where it's like, okay, are we going to come from behind? You know what I'm saying? Like the fan in me is like, okay, let's see what's about to happen. You know, this is where legends could be made right here, you know, but at the same time, I'm like, man, it's going to make, Vawlin Out a lot easier to do this week whenever, we hang 60 on somebody and blow them out, you know, but it's, I do think we're in for a fun ride the rest of the way. The schedule after watching this week, the rest of the games, I think we're all in some sort of agreement that Georgia was not necessarily a guaranteed loss, but a probable loss. After watching
I thought
them,
it was guaranteed.
I will second that because I would have said probably more than likely, but after watching that game Saturday night,
I'm still, it's going to be 50-50.
You jump on them early.
I'm 50-50 with those games.
Yeah.
Because I understand how football works. I mean, yes, they have more talent or whatever, but you still got to go out and play the game. Still got to go to play the game. I mean, everybody has to win their battles, and these past years, everybody on our team haven't won their battles. One person win, that's not going to get it against Alabama or Georgia. You got to have 9 out of the 11 on both sides. We can't have it where, the whole offensive line is beating every defensive lineman. We can't have that anymore. We got to get it to where we're winning the 50% battles where it's 60-40.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think as far as the talent level between those two and everybody else being us and down, I think Tennessee has made that step to where it's more of a, here's Georgia, here's Alabama, Tennessee's right here. It's minimal now as far as the talent difference and all of that. I'll tell you this though, I'm gonna go. When we beat Georgia, I want to go. I want to get what's the dude? What's the YouTuber's name? Dr. Lou something or other. I know you guys have seen him. We're gonna get him on here. We're gonna get him on here. We're gonna talk about that game. But what's his name? Lou something or other. I'll find him on YouTube. I'll shoot him to you. He loves to trash us. Loves to trash Tennessee. So we're gonna get him on here. We're gonna get him.
Good for him, I guess.
Pretty sure. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I'm down with it though.
Long time we have been in a situation to be
That's
trash
true.
talk. Right now you don't hear anybody talking trash.
That's true.
They are
the ones that do now. They do it because they're scared.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they know Tennessee has the team to compete. They have it to compete. It's been a long time.
Yes.
It's been a very long time where we're able to compete. And once again, I'm going to say we got the DTs and receivers to do it.
It's been a hot minute, but we're there. We're there for sure. So my next point, my next discussion point, ball security in the pocket for Nico. He had two fumbles against Oklahoma. Is that going to be an issue or is this corrected? I do want to say this though. Our boy Dane held up solid against Oklahoma, but you could tell we were missing a couple of linemen, Hurd being the important one. Is this going to become an issue for us? Is this something fixable? I think it's something fixable, but it could have cost us dearly against Oklahoma. We're getting into the meat of the schedule now. Is this do we fix this issue? Nico fix this issue? What do we go? Where do we go from here with that?
It's going to be here. I'll give you a situation when it comes to Nico or any other quarterback that's going to play under hyper. It's going to depend on the wide receivers. I'm telling you guys, if these guys are not getting off the line of scrimmage, we're going to see what we saw with those fumbles. Here, and I'll give you an example of the same situation. If this is the same team that we're playing with right now, and if Joe Milton was back there quarterback and he did the exact same thing, who would you blame it on?
It would be Milton. I mean, just because
So,
it just
think of
because
the
of the
same
position he plays.
situation.
That's where it starts and where it ends.
So think of this situation right here. How many times have we blamed Nico for those mistakes he made? No one has blamed him for that.
That's true. That's true.
He held the ball too long, or he overthrew the receiver, or he just didn't pick the right guy at that time under pressure.
That's true. That's
So-
true.
But he hasn't been in college for 15 years like Joe was.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter. He's under the same guidance, the same offensive coordinator. It doesn't matter. You can be a pee-wee, you can be an old school. If you don't go through the same training, you would never understand that situation. He's going through the same training. Just because he's been in school for 100 years, that's not how it works. It does not work that way. Here, I'll give you an example.
Billy's like,
What's the linebacker that we had? Henry Toto. Different defensive
good
coordinator.
point.
He gets down to Alabama. He gets drafted. Now he's starting right now. Joe Milton. Where's he at right now?
Third string for the
Patriots.
Patriots.
Drafted.
It makes a difference, guys. It's not. Sometimes it takes a certain guy to train or teach a person for them to understand the game of football. It just like your job, like what we're doing right now. We as podcasters, we didn't just start this and be like, I was good at it, or we understand how to do it. We was like, oh man, we got to go on live. We're gonna do this here. We've gotten better over the time. We learn from each other, and we figured it out.
That's true.
It's the same players, same with the football players, quarterbacks, same thing. Under Hyper's coordinating or his teaching or his teams, it depends on the wide receiver play. Yes, the offensive line makes a difference too, but they're not going to call a play that the offensive line can't block to help these guys out, especially the quarterback position. And that's why I say this truly is our first extra SEC game this weekend. I don't count last week as an SEC game. They knew.
Ooh.
New
Billy
kids on the
coming
block.
in hot.
I get it.
New kids
And I
on the
get it.
block. No, I agree with you. Like, I mean, Swan will tell you, him and I have gone at each other millions of times over Joe. Just coaching matters. It don't matter what position you're at. Coaching matters. And Joe's getting that coaching now. I think Nico, they were talking about it in the NC State game and the Oklahoma game, all of it. You could not build a better quarterback for Josh Heupel's offense than Nico.
And that's what
Plain
I'm
and
saying.
simple. It was like he was handcrafted for it.
And that's why I'm going to be hard as hell on Nico. Because of that statement that you just said, right? That statement that he is groomed for this offense. Here, think of a player right now that has been talked about, drooled about, that has hyped up this much as a athlete since LeBron James coming to high school.
Ooh, that's
There's not been one at. There's definitely not been one at Tennessee.
no.
It's been a long.
No.
Think about that. Who can you think right now that they talk about as much as Nico since he's been at the University of Tennessee and the world has talked about Nico?
It's been a
And I
hot
love
minute.
it. Because what I love is he backs it up and he does something that I love that athletes should do after something. After every play, that play's over. He moves to the next play like that play didn't even happen.
That's exactly where I was going to go with it, because you've mentioned it several times on here. Those two fumbles last week or against Oklahoma, man, he come right back out there, did his thing, didn't matter, did not matter. Not one damn bit to him. Did not matter. He come back out there, turned around. Yeah, the play calling helped him out just a little bit, but it didn't rattle him. Did not rattle him. I mean, the picks against NC State, the pick 6 against NC State did not bother him. I mean, he's cold-blooded, dude. Cold-blooded. Just that's what that and the way the game has changed now. I mean, you've always needed that, but now more so than ever, kind of in the era of like you were talking about earlier. Offense puts asses in seats, defense wins championships. Now, the defense will win you a championship, but if you don't have a guy back there that can sling it all game, you're not going to win, period. You're just not. And I think Tennessee has got that guy right now. Nico is a generational talent, whether it don't matter if you're a Tennessee fan, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Oklahoma, whoever, it does not matter who it is. Whether you want to admit it or not, he is a generational talent. You can see it in the way he plays the game, and he's very smart. He's cerebral almost. And in a lot of his games this year, man, in every game this year so far, he started off, he's surgical. Like surgical with where he puts the ball. There was one play in that Oklahoma game. It got called back off of a holding call, but he threw that ball about 50 yards to Deontay Thornton on a rope, just going across his body. You don't see that every game. You don't see that every week in college football or even the NFL necessarily. You just don't see it. He's there. That's our guy. If he don't get hurt, man, we're give it about 6 more weeks. We're having a hella good conversation. You know what I'm saying?
There's going to be NFL teams thanking for him.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, man. And who was the last quarterback we had that teams were doing that?
That'd be Peyton Edward Manning. I don't think that's his middle name, but
it's Peyton. You guys have seen the commercials. Peyton.
In fact, I'm going to Google what his middle name is just
Peyton.
for curiosity's sake. Peyton F. Manning.
So Peyton F. Franklin. I'm going to say that's what I'm going to go Franklin. Franklin or Freddie.
His middle name is Williams, like the last name, Peyton Williams Manning.
Oh, so Bills, Peyton Bills Manning. We were way off.
Yep.
Man, I just snorted. I don't even care. People can roast me for it. We got one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. They can roast me for it. I don't care. Next up on the discussion list, boys, the Arkansas quarterback. We've watched 4 games of them, whether it's been intermittently or we've just tuned in because we're like, hey, they're on the schedule. What do you guys think of the Arkansas quarterback? Me, I'll go ahead and tell you. I think he's pretty good. I think he's just good enough to where he might give us fits just because he's got good legs and he seems like he can throw well on the move. And we know he's going to be on the move against Tennessee. Plain and simple. What do y'all think?
I think, I've not watched any Arkansas football this year. I have the A&M game recorded to watch either tonight or tomorrow. I'm going to get that done just to see what to expect. So I'll not comment any further before some Arkansas fan jumps my ass on Facebook. And I'll let Billy tell us what he thinks.
We're keeping receipts on Vawlin Out this year. Do it.
I think the kid's he's a great athlete, man. I think he get a little impatient at times, and he leaves the pocket too soon. And that's the part that I think is going to help us. The fact that if we can push the middle and get him to run outside instead of letting him, do draw quick plays up the middle. If we can get him east-west, I think we'll be okay because he can throw the ball. And most definitely, if you give him time, he can complete the ball. He's a great runner. If he gets outside the pocket, it can be tough for us if we don't contain him. He's a great kid. I mean, don't get me wrong. If we allow him to do what he's been doing all season, when it comes to his stat-wise, he can't hurt us. But we have the defense to make him make those mistakes he's been making all season.
I'm with you on that. I was actually Saturday. I walked in to my folks' house over here. Dad had the Arkansas Texas A&M game on, and he was kind of, me and him, we always talk about, Tennessee, whatever. And he said, we are to handle Arkansas pretty easily. Kind of. I'm like, no, I agree with that, but I said the only reason I don't think we can, the only reason we wouldn't, I shouldn't say don't think we will or can. I said the only reason I don't think that it'll be as easy as everybody thinks it is that quarterback. And about the time I said that, he dropped a dime up the sideline for the first touchdown of the game for Arkansas. I want to say maybe the tight end, but the way, to your point, Billy, the way you kind of, contain that mobile quarterback that can, the dual threat guy, you keep him in the pocket. You don't let him break contain, because whenever they break contain, that's whenever their big plays happen. And that was one of those plays where he got outside the pocket just far enough to where he'd bought himself enough time to just float it. And that's exactly what he did. He floated it, and it landed right there. And the tight end, to his credit, I mean, he smoked the Texas A&M secondary. So, that's one of those things. It's just one of those games where I have an uneasy feeling about it. I feel like Tennessee can handle business in this one, and I feel like they will. But it's also one of those games where I'm like, let's just get out of Fayetteville with a win. We've won there twice in the last 25, 30 years. Just do it. Just get out of there with a win. I'm going to be happy. I'm one of those fans where I'm like, I don't care if we win by 1 or 41. Just get the win. It don't matter at this point. Just do it. I love them to death. I love our fan base. They're the best fan base in college football. But I actually had people coming at me because I was on Facebook posts. I'm like, oh, 38-34. And they're like, they're not scoring that much, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, well, okay, that's fine. I don't care. But you're mad at me basically because I'm saying we're not going to win by enough. Win the game. That's all we got to do. Win the game. To quote Herm Edwards, you play to win the damn game. Just win the game. You know what I'm saying?
Just win
the game.
Hal Davis.
There you go. I like that one too. Just win, baby. So, all right, fellers. That being said, let's get into, I want to do something a little different this week. We got a pretty solid SEC slate this week. We'll pick against the spread. I got 5 games. Go ahead.
Timeout. Are we doing score predictions for Arkansas?
Yes.
Are we doing that now or later?
Oh, it's coming. It's
Is
coming
that
in
into this. Okay. Word.
We're going to work it into this. First game up on the docket, fellers. Mizzou at Texas A&M. Texas A&M is favored by 1.5.
Damn, man. I thought Missouri was supposed to be I thought this was going to be their best team ever this year.
That's it. A&M is favored.
I think everybody did.
That's what we said. That I was like,
A&M
what?
is favored. It's in.
That's the 1.5 right there.
Yes, sir.
Hey, A&M's new quarterback looks good, and he's a Tennessee boy too, Marcel Reed.
Yes, sir.
I'll take A&M plus the points there. I think they come out of here with a W.
I like it.
Well, I think I'm at the run with you there just because I think that's a easy trap game for Vegas to make people take Missouri with that point. So yeah, I'm going to go with A&M on that one.
I think it's a clean sweep on that one because I don't buy into Missouri. I just don't. I'm sorry, I don't. The Vandy should have beat them. They should have one loss on the season already, and it's Vanderbilt. And that game was in Como. So yeah, I'm with you guys on that one. Clean sweep on that one. Next up, we got Auburn going between the hedges to Athens, Georgia. 24.5-point favorites. What are y'all thinking?
If
Rivalry game, nonetheless.
Auburn defense can show up. I think Freeze will show up on the offense and keep up with them. Georgia still win the game. I don't think they're covered though.
I just don't think Auburn's very good. They've still got a lot of things to work out. The game against California and who they played the week after,
Yeah.
I forget, but they've just not looked very good. What did you say the spread was?
24.5.
Yeah, that's a lot of points. I think I'd still take Georgia though.
And see, I tell
I'm
you
with you.
why I don't think they're covered, just because anytime a team loses like that to a rivalry like the Alabama Georgia game, and then you come back and then you got them playing Auburn, and the spread is only 24.5 against a Auburn team that's not good. I'm not going to say anything. That spread should be easily 4 or 5 touchdowns, to be 30 something, and that's another trap line where Vegas like, let's give them an easy line that we know they would cover.
And especially Georgia coming off of that game this past weekend. I would hate to be the team coming with Georgia on the schedule after that. That's not going to be pretty.
So I see them winning I say they win by 13, 14 points.
I think I'm going to run with Billy on this one, just simply because I think this is one of those games you find out just how good Georgia really is this year. Because years past, they're coming out, the last couple of years, they're coming out getting dominated, doggy style. All right, you don't want no part of Georgia. I don't know. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out this week. I'm gonna take the 24.5. I bet it grows. If it goes down to 22.5, take Georgia. I don't think, but if it stays about where it's at or goes up, by all means, I'm taking Auburn. I'm taking Auburn. Not on the money line, but
Now
that is a lot of points. But
if it goes the way you say it go, if it goes down, I'm most definitely taking Auburn.
okay. All right.
You really think that Auburn is enough to change the spread to go down? No. If anything, that line should go
I don't
up
think they're good enough
before
to do it. I think
kickoff
Vegas
time.
is getting
If it
enough
goes down,
money.
you better put your
If that spread gets
that
20
game
and
is
a
in
half,
Athens too. That's
21.5. Yeah, I don't know. I still got to go with Auburn. I'm gonna say if that spread keeps going up, if it goes to 27.5, 28.5, because the money's going on Georgia right now.
If it goes up,
Stick with Auburn.
If it goes up to 29, 40 points, I'll take Georgia then. If it goes down 14 points, give me Auburn money line.
Billy's going bold. Going bold. All right, fellers. Next up on the docket, Ole Miss at South Carolina. Ole Miss is a 9.5 point favorite.
That's true definition of a trap game.
I'm going South Carolina. I'm not going to lie to you. I hate them, but I'm going South Carolina. Lane is known for dropping. We've talked about this before. Lane is known for dropping games he shouldn't. Last week was one of them. This is another one. And then he rights the ship when it don't matter.
well, with the 12-team playoff, they're still going to be playing for something, even if they drop this game.
Yeah, but you look at who they got left on the schedule, though, man.
I don't know what their schedule looks like because I don't care about but one team's schedule. And I mean, it's true. I know our schedule front to back, but I don't know who plays who next. Like, I didn't know Georgia and Bama were playing until 7 o'clock Saturday night. I was like, oh, this is on today?
Till a chick at the bar let you know.
Oh, buddy. Yeah. Man, I had every Alabama fan that was at the bar just to watch the game sat right in front of me at the bar, like where I was positioned. It's a big, we take sections pretty much, and they sat right in front of me. I was like, you gotta be kidding. We had TVs everywhere, guys. Why'd you pick this one? Anyway, yeah, so Ole Miss got beat by Kentucky this last week, and they had no business doing that. This game's at South Carolina, 9.5 points. I think Ole Miss is very good. They shouldn't have lost that game to Kentucky. Give me Ole Miss in this one. -9.
All right, Ole Miss to cover. Billy, what you got?
I'm going to take Ole Miss. They should win that game easily, about 2 touchdowns. Easy.
Okay. All right. Now, Here's a good one. I think this is tough, too, because it depends on which team you get out of the Gators. Central Florida favored by 2.5 over Florida, and the game is in the Swamp. Where are you going?
Billy, take off here because I got some research to do real quick.
I'm going to say this is the game that the seat gets so hot where he may get burnt. I'm going to take Central Florida.
And favored in the Swamp. That's insane.
Yeah, I'm going to take – the reason I'm taking them in because Central Florida laid an egg last week. And I think –
That's true. Colorado just beat them like they owed them money.
And I think Central Florida got caught up in the jarring and forgot to actually play the game. And they got the psychological part knocked out of them. And they never woke back up. I think being that this is a in-state, call it a rivalry in a sense, a lot of these kids are pissed that they didn't get recruited by the Gators. And now in their mind that they know that the Gators, this is our time to take advantage of them. They bringing the wood this weekend to the Swamp.
I got to say, I was prepared to take Florida here. And then I think Billy just talked me out of it. I think Billy just talked me into taking UCF. So that's where I'm going to go.
I think I'm going to avoid. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going Central Florida too. Florida is so bad right now, and honestly, like I'm hesitant to say it because we know that's the next game up on the schedule for us. Historically, we've talked about it. History don't matter. History don't always repeat itself. But we also know that historically there's been tons of games where Tennessee has had the better team, and Florida has just found a way to get it done. I don't think that happens this year because it's in England. That's the only reason I don't think it does. We go to Florida.
Oh, we get
it's a hard. The Swamp's a hard place to win. It's a hard place to win. But I'm with you guys on this one. I'm going Central Florida. Just
are we making this pick with our head or our hearts? You know what I mean?
I'm going with my head on this one just because I know what we've watched of Florida. You know, I mean, Miami just dominated them. I mean, they beat Sanford, Texas A&M. They manhandled them in the rain down there. There's problems in Florida. That being said, I really, really hope they do not fire Napier. Like, keep that man down there as long as you can.
Another thing is like the difference now, man, is just they're not getting the same recruits that they used to get, man. I'm like, the NIL killed them, especially with the kid that they supposed to have been given the big contract to. That hurt them big time. Like, you know, when they said that they reneged on the contract, no kid wants to go there now. So they're going to have to get the top picks.
That's true. That's true.
Are they going to get the local second hand until they build something that shows these kids that they can win, or they're going to give them the bag. It's going to be a while before they change. It's going to be a while.
That's true. I'm with you there.
I'm going to renege on something here. I'm going with Florida plus 2.5. Sorry, it's gut reaction that's going in the parlay here.
Man, I'll tell you what, if I was going to bet it, I would tease it and maybe buy some points, like 5 or so, just simply because, or even just 3, because it's going to be a close game. That would give you 5.5. I think it's going to be a close game. Because it's in the Swamp. The Swamp is a hard place to win. Just saying. If I'm going to take the 2.5, I'm going to buy 3 and take the 5.5 on it.
Oh man, don't take the bait. Vegas is making you take the bait.
Oh no, I'm taking Central Florida to cover. I'm just saying they're going to win by at least a field goal. But I don't think Florida's going to win. I don't think Florida wins this game outright. I don't. Not unless something wild happens.
I think Central Florida's going to make up for the points they didn't score last week. I can see them putting up with their average. They're going to put their 45 points up. It's coming up.
Listen, one thing I do want to say about Florida, that big 2-1 they got at defensive tackle, that boy don't miss many meals. He is huge.
Yeah, let me tell you something about that defensive tackle. That defensive tackle need to be on offense because he is not going to make it to the league doing that. He's going to drop 60 pounds.
He's gonna have to. He's gonna have to drop at least a fifth grader.
I love his attitude, his demeanor. He doesn't want to come off the field, but he needs to come off the field and rush. Because if he stays on the field when he gets to that next level, brother, you talking about some pancakes? It's a difference between now if he can get lucky and get to like a Baltimore Ravens that runs that 34 defense where he's just a true nose left, right, and just takes all that like Big Ben Swift used to do.
Yeah.
That's not what he's doing down.
No. I'll tell you what he's doing down there. He's hitting all the crab bulls down there. That's what he's doing. I mean, I don't blame him. I would too. But that's exactly what he's doing. All right, fellas.
Good. It's smooth, man. Like, I just don't believe in defensive tackles that can't run to the ball, man.
Right. The only place he's running is the buffet line. All right. That's a fact. He's a buffet buster. Like, you want those guys, like you said, on the offensive line.
He's a good kid. It's just I think he needs to lose a few pounds. And you know, that's a big man. That's a big man.
That's a big man, he says. All right, fellas. Last but not least, our Vols travel to Fayetteville. We went through the season history. We've won there twice since 95. Vols are favored by 13.5. Who you got covering and why?
Full cover. Why? Just because I've just got a big orange heart on this year, and I'm voting with that. Yeah, Vols. I'm going to say.
Okay. I'll go with you on that one. Billy?
I'm going to say, I'll come out slowly in the first half. I think we pull away 45-17.
Okay. All right. I'm going to say they keep it close till the fourth quarter. That's when the depth comes out. I'm going to say we put up a couple garbage ones and we end up winning, I'm going to say 45-20, maybe 20 for them. Maybe. 45-17, 45-20. Either way, we're covering. We throw up one late to make it look a lot better than it was. It's a road game, though, in the SEC. Get the win. That's all that matters to me. I don't care at this point. I do think I'm going to throw this. What was that? That was some squalling tars. Squalling tars.
Billy, did you hear that? It must have been around here, Jordan.
It must have been. I heard it. That's wild. I'm gonna say 45-20 Vols. Either way, we're covering. That's got the win. Look solid enough to get the dub, and look convincing doing it. Vols are number 4 in the AP poll. Hey, who knows where we're at this time next week? Florida did get announced as a 7 p.m. kickoff. You know Neyland's going to be rowdy for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Swan, you and I may have to get together for that one, sir.
We'll do it.
Let's
just to let everybody know, I did put my money where my mouth is on these bets.
Look at it. I like it. I like it.
It's in there.
Hey, I think that may be something we ought to start doing on here. The Vawlin Out parlay. You know what I'm saying? I'm down with it.
We can cook us some up.
Oh yeah.
One last thing I want to bring up before I meant to bring it up last time we recorded, Jordan, but did you see that ticket prices are coming up at Neyland Stadium next year? They're adding a 10% talent fee.
Yes, I've seen that.
I mean, it's going to be something that, Tennessee's kind of setting the trend here because it's coming to every school, I'd say.
Well,
it's already at every school. They just made Tennessee look like the bad guy.
That's true. That's true. That's
Naturally.
true. Well,
That's
I
what it
think
does.
we'll eat it all up.
All to be, we're winning. They have anything negative to say about the Vols, so they come up with something like that and say Tennessee is at 10%. Every school is doing it.
You know, here's the thing. From the start of NIL, Tennessee has led the way in a lot of different things, and this is one of those things where it's a new thing, but it's not. It's a new old thing. At least I'll give Danny White credit because the man deserves all the credit in the world for anything he does good for Tennessee, even bad, but even the good, especially the good. He was at least upfront enough to say, hey, you guys want to win a football team? You're paying for it. Kudos. But where it hurts is the guys that are like, you know what? I'm just gonna go to this one game, and okay. So, say you pay $1,500 for 2 tickets on the sideline, right there, front row at Neyland. You're paying $150 in talent fees. Gonna be interesting.
Well,
It's the cost of winning, I guess.
I'm gonna give you my opinion of it. Yeah, sure. Ready? Here we go.
Let's hear it.
I love the fact kids are getting paid now. I love it. I used to be a player. I wish I could have got what they got now. But the thing is, it wouldn't mean they're gonna call it the part of the whole situation that makes it look bad. They call it a talent fee because of the players. No, they gotta find a way to offset of paying the men behind the scene. They gotta
There you
find
go. I can see that.
dollars. They gotta
I can
offset
see it.
Why would they call it a talent fee when the kids get the NIL? Think about that.
I can see that.
So how do you separate that 10% and play those kids equally then with 10%?
I can see that. Basically, you're paying with that 10%. You're paying the bag man.
Somebody, come on now. There's no way you're gonna say now. All of a sudden, you can say, "Let's just raise them 10%," and where does money go? So, like to me, I know where all the money goes. I went and was I went Mike Hamilton in there. I shadowed this man. I saw where all the money came from. I saw what the money goes to. I didn't know that money went to certain places. When I played, I'm like, oh, really? I didn't know that they actually raised to actually pay for these kids' scholarships. I didn't know that. That. But when you try to say, and you put that on the fans now because we just not start winning, why not put that fee on it when we got 3 years of winning? Why don't you?
I get that.
The thing is with me, what pisses me off about it is a fan about it. I love it as the kids are getting paid. But why did the world use us as a scapegoat to say that we have to be first one that announced it? Why wasn't it Alabama? Why wasn't it Georgia? The ones that are actually winning, that charging the same 10% raising their tickets.
Sure.
They wanted to make.
I'll tell you why.
That's the way the world are. They hate Tennessee.
I'll tell you why. That's one reason.
They hate that.
If that was the case, there'd be like, I don't know, 7, 8 dozen sets of Dodge Hellcat keys on Nick Saban and Kirby Smart's desks right now because they're driving around. They were driving around in their NIL money. I'm just saying. But no, I get where you're coming from. I hope that if they're going to do this, they with the 10%, even if it's just minimal, they take that 10% for some of the younger kids or some of the kids that aren't getting those big NIL deals and split it across some of them kids that are, not necessarily getting them some of the walk-ons that work their ass off every week in practice, whatever. If they're smart with it, they could do it. I'm not necessarily saying give them like a participation trophy, but they're out there giving their all, doing what they got to do. If they're smart with it, that 10% talent fee could be a good thing. But I see where you're coming from too.
Because the 10% fee, it doesn't hurt anybody but the fans. And the fans are accepting it. Like, that's the thing is, as long as we buy it or pay for it or anything, it's going to stay that price. It's going to keep going up. It's not going to go down. If we pay, they know they're going to keep right.
Exactly.
When does it stop? Like, now, who are we going to blame on that?
Right, right.
It's we as control the price. We buy it, they're going to keep on releasing it.
That's true. That's true. You know, it's like
you love our Rogers.
That's it, buddy. That's it. Well, fellas, that being said, I think we've had ourselves a phenomenal episode tonight. Let's close this one out how we always do, with a big old Go Vols.
Yes, sir.
Builds the asses, baby. Go Vols.